So we're going to continue to look the overview of data mining. I'd like to finish up this first module as quick as we can, and then we need to jump into another module. And that another module I'm not personally, and also not only me in the real world market, do not want to hire you only because you know how to use some software packages. Okay. If they hire you because you know how to at least tweak the software packages. Okay, which means I'm going to teach you not the software package is already developed, but the foundation, which is a programming, a little bit of programming. We don't call it programming, but scripting. The language that are so popular in data analytics and data mining, knowledge discoveries, is so-called R. R as research R. Okay, R Studio is the one that we are going to work, and also R programming itself. Even further from there, even before we do R, R is a little bit the language already cooked for data mining. It's not either primitive language that you could do on your own. So what we will do is I'm going to introduce a little bit of Python. We'll start with R and a little bit of Python, assuming that we're not going to deal with all kinds of Python, but only a little bit of a Python, so that you can build something in Python. For example, if I ask you to, hey, give me the average of the following 100 numerical data, then you can handle it by programming in Python, right? We may practice that quick. By doing so, you may appreciate much more when you use R. So if you use R, then simple one short statement. Short R statement can produce average, median, mode, or any other plotting, chart, everything. Good to see you. All right, before we going further, this will give you another aspects of the data mining. I would say multi-dimensional view of data mining. First issue is, what are the data sets that you want to extract from? So we can say, we'll look at each of these in great detail in the following slides. But here in this slide give you a broad idea of multi-dimensional view. So data sets that your data mining effort can deal with is the database data, for example. You can extract, you can mine some patterns from data already stored in a commercial database, for example, Oracle. Okay? So relational database can contain data sets, huge data sets, if you want to do some data mining to apply, that is possible. Or extended relational. Extended relational in general is like object relational database, or object-oriented database, or heterogeneous database, or legacy database, typical relational database, or file-based database. That is the target that you can apply your data mining technique to. Or data warehouse. What is data warehouse? How can you compare database and data warehouse? Mr. Cheng.
Is that data warehouse like 10 times compared with database? It's kind of like tons of database and storage data.
You're talking about size. Yeah, of course, size-wise, data warehouse is a lot bigger. Any critical difference between database data and data warehousing data?
Database data might be already sorted or already integrated with knowing purpose, and warehouse may not be already right.
I guess you understand a little bit, but you can elaborate further so that you can make a clear distinction between those two. Khalef, do you have any idea?
Maybe the way they're stored, like maybe one is stored and are like organized better.
There's a more critical difference I wanted to say. Anyone? Yeah, say. If this is it, you want to raise?
It's like foundation for high performance warehouse.
There is one real critical, significant difference, but not yet spoken.
Follow up in the data access data.
Yeah, but what you are saying so far are all reasonable, but I want to hear something critical, significant difference. Mr. Wagon, do you have any?
Not how much you want to like to figure it out then.
Okay, here is the thing. I want you to keep in mind, right? No one asks you if you want to find a job. They don't ask this kind of questions anymore. This was a really hot question 15 years ago, but not anymore. Okay, but without knowing this, then maybe even worse. Critical difference between relational, typical, any database data and data warehousing data is the data warehousing is the data that piled up chronically. So historical data all stored.
You can like analyze it and stuff.
So that you can analyze timeline also. On the other hand, database data It's a current data. Current data. So what they do is, if they want to save, they archive. If the database archive based upon timestamp, then that is nothing but data warehouse. Okay? So data warehouse, a typical database data is two-dimensional. Like we have some attributes and other attributes so that we know this guy has some correlations among those. Data warehouse has one more dimension, which is time, or is more, not only time, but some granularities. Okay? That is possible. Time has granularities. For example, second or minute, hours, day, years, so that you can trace back, hey, what is my data, what was my grade semester ago, or 2 years ago, time-wise, or geographical scalability. For example, I am now here at Dobbs Ferry, so your database can give you Dobbs Ferry as your location. If it is data warehousing, then you can generalize it so that Dobbs Ferry, therefore Westchester County, therefore New York, therefore United States, therefore the Earth, therefore whatever. Okay? Those scalability along the granularity is the number one major difference between database data and data warehousing data. So their data warehousing data can summarize and based upon, for example, can we have population of Dobbs Ferry? Can you have a population of Westchester County? Can you have population of New York? And so on and so forth. Okay. If we need to do that in typical database, then that typical database should contain all different data items together with data objects. So drill up and drilling down is also possible in data warehousing.
Oh, now you wait.
Yeah. Good to see you, Nicholas. Okay, another is a transaction data, transactional data. What is a transactional data? Data that cover entire transaction. So transaction can be either short transaction or long duration transaction. If you want to, for example, what is a short transaction? Cash withdrawal from a bank, then you can get the cash immediately, right? When you request, I want $20, then they said, come back next week. They don't do that, right? Give it to you immediately. That's a short transaction, right? The longer transaction is this. I want to wire my X amount of money from my bank account to my friend who is in France somewhere. Then it's not going to work that quick, right? Because it is international money wiring transaction, it has a lot of steps to be made. Not only do that, they need to make sure that once that transaction begin, should be complete, or otherwise it should not do anything, which means transaction cannot be complete partially. When you send the money, what is a partial transaction? When you wire your money to another country's another bank, X amount of money is extracted from your account, but the receiver would not add that much money into his account. So money dropped somewhere. That is incomplete transaction of money transfer, right? But anyway, data involved there. So can we mine the data from there? Okay. If there are another example of cyber security. One transaction is one attack. If you want to do attack, then that is usually long transaction, right? Attack may or may not be succeed, depending upon skills or depending upon the strength of the target system. But anyway, in order to attack, how do you attack usually? Never attack any computer at all? Anybody attacked in your life? Just between you and me. I'm not going to report this to anyone. We all know. We wish. We envy your skill. So tell us, anyone attacked anything? Not using any software packages, but your own technique. How do you attack? There is a Bible of attack. The steps.
Well, the FBI that one time ago, so I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
David, you first need to scan through all IPs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then next?
Check out the ports.
Yeah, you can scan all the ports if there is anything open but not used. After that?
The elite hacksaw.
Oh, after that you really hack? Therefore, it is not be successful.
CMD, just start typing DI.
Okay, if you find out some ports available, open at some IP, then you need to figure out if that port is typically used by a application XYZ. Okay, when you install software packages, if that packages needs to communicate external, then they always use some port, right? So each application packages wants to open predefined port. Unless you change it, it remains. So you have to find out the port. Hey, this is usually Oracle port, 3758. Oh, okay. So find out what is the version of their Oracle. Depending upon the version, if that the installer didn't change default login and password, then that is possible. So through that port and log in, then that is your success story, right? Long process. That is the transaction. From the multiple such transactional data, then you can get some patterns. That is the transactional data. I need pen. Why pen is not? Okay, another one is a stream. What is a streaming data? Give me some example of streaming data.
Medical records? Like medical data? Like
Medical data,
so like a
personal
a
data,
heart rate
patient
monitor.
data, then that is not
That's
streaming.
That's not what I mean, like a heart rate monitor, something that's monitoring.
Okay, some sensor data. Okay,
That's what I meant.
webcam, right? Yeah,
That's an
closed
example.
caption camera. What else? Our speech, my voice is streaming data,
Netflix.
right? You hear streaming. Anything that is, any streaming data has some frequencies, right? So analyze the frequency and find out some future sophisticated data mining.
What about radio waves?
Radio wave is one typical, radio frequencies that you can play with. X-ray, laser, they're all streaming, right? And streaming mining from streaming data is one of difficult, but the government wants to achieve anytime soon, right? In part, yes. Military developed a lot. For example, the radio signals, they want to see some. Spatial temporal data. What is spatial temporal data? Data that has a timestamp and geocode together. It is called spatial temporal data. Data about space, data about time together is called spatial temporal data. You know, there is a U.S. government has multiple agencies. Two typical agencies that everybody knows is FBI and CIA, right? And similarly, NSA also. But similarly, it's very mission critical and high-tech intensive agencies. Not all known. It's called NGA, right? You know that, you've heard of National Geospatial Geospatial Intelligence Agencies. What do they do is, if, for example, CIA has information about some terrorism, and that they have some geocode, but still there is some gap. How can we map, Evan? How can we map spatial temporal data into the real physical location? Not like latitude and longitude, altitude, but where is it specifically? Can we target that spot? That's what they do, okay? NGA. If you are interested in that agencies, there are also openings, but they need really top secret clearance. Time series. What is time series? You have multiple data points, series of data points, but each data point can correspond to time stamps. Data x1 on time t1, data x2 on time t2. So whatever you capture the pattern, then you can say like this. Oh, cyber attack from southern China. I'm sorry, but it's very common from my statistics. Anybody wants to gain access from my server logging from southern China or Russia or North Korea? But North Korea don't do that directly from North Korea. They do not have facilities. They always jump to some other place, Algeria, and then attack. And then during the time is important in such case. Night time of that location, not the night time here in Eastern time, but night time in southern China. Then that is a lot, right? So we have to scan through their attack and trace back. But trace back is not easy. Sequence data. What is the sequence data? Typical sequence data can be found in medicine. What is the sequence data usually? DNA? Yeah, DNA is a sequence data, right? DNA is a sequence data. So can we find some patterns, data mining from sequence data? That is hot topic. One of my research papers written about that. DNA sequence. There may be some hidden correlationship with some disease. If you see this DNA pattern within your long sequence, only because you have this sequence, a small piece, that therefore you have, for example, cancer somewhere, right? That pattern is usually called what is that? Family history, right? When you have some critical diseases, then doctor always asking about your family records. It means DNA, right? Because you have this DNA, you love to eat this kind of food, but that food has some cancer sensitive components, chemicals. Therefore you observe, and because of that DNA, your body keep that chemicals inside. It grows, and finally will be a cancer, right? So that is one useful data mining. So a lot of those web data, size of web data, always one direction, growing and growing and growing. So you might have 10 years of web data. You might have a month ago web data. Can we make some correlations? If you can, oh, that is great, right? All such things. Okay, let's move to another. Knowledge too big mind. Are you going to characterize the data? If you have a very big data, characterization of data is, you can simply say, what is it? Oh, this is address data. That's a characterization. Discrimination, association, classification, clustering, trend and deviation, outlier analysis. Those are all the topics of data mining. Are you going to do, for example, are you going to mine association rule? Are you going to classify the data? Are you going to cluster? Knowledge to be mined finally make technology advancement so that data mining, almost all the data mining books has chapters, one for each of those knowledge. Classification, one chapter, clustering another, and trend analysis, outlier analysis, and association words, and so on and so forth. Another type of knowledge could be descriptive. It describes something. For example, any descriptive. Versus predictive. Predictive means if you have some patterns mined already, can predict. Example that I made.
Oh, great. Fire drill, or not a drill, and these are the run. All right, let's get out of here. Where's my phone? Oh, right here. Oh, gosh, it's not. Come on, guys. Let's go. Everything okay?
Let's see. Yeah, I need to first do this, and then duplicate slideshow. Okay. Not detected. Okay. Okay, so we had the fire drill. Very well. So predictive data mining is mining that that can predict something to occur in the future. Okay, by describing, for example, internet attack occurs if it log in from some specific geolocation during this time frame, then highly likely attack. Okay, that type of things can help us to predict, right? Multiple and integrated functions and mining multiple levels, and techniques utilized for data mining is data intensive or data warehousing. On OLAP. It's long. This is very old jargon, but if I try to remember, it's online analytic process. I'm not sure it's online or whatever that. Machine learning is a technique also highly used. Statistics. So what we will do in this class for statistical data mining, we will do programming in R. Okay. I know you like it. If you are very good at R scripting, then believe me, industries are looking for R as expert. If you know R, if you know Python, if you know integration of both those, so that your Python program can run all, you control all process from your Python, which means everything is automatic, then I guarantee you can get a position at least to 6 figure maybe 7 figures. Bill, I'm sorry. Yours is not 7 figures?
No.
Well, close,
That's
right?
my phone number, but no.
You're close, right?
No.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Okay. Machine learning techniques, we're not going to do much in this class, but we developed last year, this spring, we developed 2 courses. One of the courses is intelligent programming. Okay, there your undergraduate students can learn. So by programming, your system will be intelligent. So finally, that intelligent program that you developed may attack you. So you need to build yourself how to defend against the program that you developed once. Okay, application adapted. Data mining can be applied to everywhere. Biomedical, fraud analysis, accounting, stock market analysis, text mining. Text mining, therefore, some counterattack terrorism, right? When they do terror, then they usually use some text communication. So how can we mine text? Telecommunication, retail store, everything. Data mining on what kinds of data? We looked at this already. Okay. The techniques or the knowledge to be mined, one of them is generalization. Let's suppose that there are tons of data available. We call it big data because it is gigantic, big, enough for us not to figure out anything at all because too big. But your data miner gives you the summary or generalization. That is the big advantages, right? That is the technique. Another technique is association and correlations. Let's say you have 2 attributes. Previously, you do not know there exist any correlations. Remember that I told you altitude of your living and the material of your footsteps. If it is soil or concrete, you live very high up, 1,000 feet above the sea, but if you live on the concrete, that is not the case. I'm talking about still you live on the soil. For example, on top of ridge, high mountain, ridge, then GPA is high. I do not know. I'm not sure this is true. But that type of patterns is the association rules. 2 different attributes are correlated. Your GPA and then altitude together with the material of your floor. If your floor is water, if your floor is concrete, if your floor is glasses, if your floor is air, whatever, right? So that is association and correlationship. Another thing is a classification. Reason I'm flipping quick is because I want to finish up the chapter 1 quick. Another reason is that anyway we will come back to each such issues in great detail and we will do also some programming. Okay, so don't worry about it. Classification. Classification and clustering together are very similar. The outcome is very similar, but only the difference is the procedures. More specifically, the assumptions are not the same between those two. Assumption for classification, well, first of all, outcome of classification and clustering is that there's multiple groups. If we apply classification, we call it classes. Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D. If we are talking about clustering, the outcome is also group sets. We call it cluster. So cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, and cluster whatever. Outcome is very similar. But technique, algorithm are quite different. Why techniques and algorithms are different? That is because assumptions are not the same. So the assumption for classification, as opposed to those for clustering, is there's a prior analysis already given, already description of, hey, class 1 should be this, class 2 should be that, class 3 is this, class 4 is something like that. Like college football, then Division 1 teams has this kind of characteristics. Division 2 has this kind of characteristics. Division 3 is this kind of characteristics. That type of things. Okay. Ohio State University is Division 1. Carnegie Mellon University Division 3. Why? There's some definition of classes. Let's suppose that Mercy College started football team, then according to the rules, they can say, hey, Mercy College, you should be in Division 1, luckily. Okay, or Division 3 or 4, whatever. That's the classification. Because there is a clear definition of each class so that we can apply and to verify if the current condition meets the requirements. That's classification. So algorithm for classification is very straightforward. On the other hand, clustering is different. If we apply clustering rules to cluster the new coming college team, like football team of Mercy College, then because of Mercy College to be added, previously we have 4 divisions, but because of Mercy College, now we have only 2 divisions, or now we have 10 divisions. We do not know. 2 divisions, say, good team, bad team. 2 divisions. What 10 divisions? I don't know. Maybe northeast, northwest, or whatever. 10 divisions. So it is not number of classes, not predefined. Classification, defined. Clustering, not defined. Different assumption. Classification, already there is a definition of each class. That is big assumption. But clustering, no. By looking at each data items, data points, now they think, oh, can we group into 5 or 3? Previously we have 5 groups, but because we have one more item in, therefore, oh, now we have 3 groups. So now we have 3 groups. So another one comes in. Oh, because of this data item, we have 7 clusters. That type of things. No strong assumption in clustering. We call that teacher. Existence of teacher. So teacher, is there a teacher so that teacher can help to classify? Then that is teacher-based classification. If there is no teacher, therefore each element should talk each other. That is clustering, right? When we make a students group for your semester project, then teacher may involve when you make a team, right? Then I can say, oh, I have some rules so that, oh, this and we have 4 groups, 5 groups. That is a possible way of data mining. We call it classification, right? Another way is that I'll let you do. There's no teacher. So that you meet each other and finally there may be all breakout and, hey, we cannot make any cluster. Can we do individual? There's a realistic example, right? Well, some team has two students, some team has 4 students, all different cluster. Outlier analysis. As you do cluster, sometimes in order to, let's assume there is some noise. We call that outlier, some noise. If we really want to include that noise, then that affects our clustering a lot. Only because we include that outlier. So, the good data mining techniques, first to take out our outlier. If they know for sure this is an outlier, then there is an outlier. If we have a multimedia data, then outlier is very clearly determined, right? For example, music, song. You know the noisy, right? Very clearly say, oh, this is noisy. This is outlier. Take that out. So that we have a clear music. However, cybersecurity. Can we exclude outliers so that we have a very clear and simple and very nice data mining? Think about this. Cybersecurity community, outlier is usually an attacker. Outlier is an attacker, right? Everybody's walking down the street back there, but one guy drifted away and stand here holding up shotgun. That is attacker, right? Outlier from the main group. That's a dangerous guy. So, again, outlier analysis is very, very important for cybersecurity application. But treatment of that outlier is not removing, but taking care of it more seriously. There's a noise. There's an outlier. There's an attack. We have a noise from next door.
I see this.
Right. It's not the case that they're arranging chairs. If it is, then it stops. They're doing some project, scratching floors.
That one's the one right there.
He's like yelling at him. We're next door. Shut up. He's going to think you're that outlier, right?
Yeah, such a bunch of girls come in the desk talk, and now they're leaving the classroom.
Oh,
Yeah, I took care of it. Good point.
oh, great, great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks so much.
5 points on my major.
Yeah,
Oh,
you got an
that's
A,
fine.
yeah. Okay. Time and ordering. Many times it is also important, right? Time and ordering. Association, or for example, correlations. This and that, they are correlated. That we can imagine, right? But sometimes ordering is also very, very important. This guy is not really, they are correlated, but this guy affects the other guy. So always attacker and defender. Okay? Like order. That is the case of this slide. Another one is structure network analysis. For example, social network. There are actors and relationships, multiple heterogeneous networks, and link mining, or web mining. As I said, web has some content. If it is sensitive from one website, and therefore another sensitive data from another website, they may be correlated. Bill, I was scared because you were trying to go back to them and yelling again. So we'll fight all together. So we will be united. Okay, evaluation of knowledge. Another critical thing is that once you mine some patterns, once you do classification, once you do clustering, once you do generalization, once you describe some, once you summarize any, the last step that you need to make sure is that is the evaluation. There are some measurement developed already. So at this point, if I give to you the measurement, there are two typical measurements. And after that, more and more measurements developed. One measurement is this. Or can anyone say, once you mine something, therefore you have some outcome from your data mining, how can you evaluate? So what is your the measurement or matrix, so that you can say, oh, this is a good mining. What is it? some correctness, right? Is this correct? We call that confidence. Is this correct? Let's say you have a rule. I want you to recall the one awkward example that I made. I'm sorry, but example. Any login, any attempt from southern China during nighttime is an attack. Is it confident? Is it really accurate? So we need to measure that. Accuracy and confidence, they are two different things. But anyway, somehow correctness, right? Confidence is one of the factors. Oh, confidence is so low. Don't worry about it. That may be possible, right? Or confidence is very high. Whenever logging from there, then alert. There's a confidence. Another measurement is so-called support or supportiveness. Support, which means, okay, that is highly confident. So we all agree with the pattern that is correct. Then another issue is that, does it occur frequently? Or does it occur once a century? If it occurs once a century, then why should we bother about it, right? It may occur once per 100 years. Look at the same rule, okay? Login from southern China during this time period. Oh, if it occur, I mean, it'll never occur next to 20 years. Then we don't have to worry about it, right? That type of measurement is another evaluation. Or some rules, it occurs every minute. Then that is a very useful pattern, right? There are a lot more measurements, evaluation tools developed. Data mining is not just a one unique and exclusive discipline, but there is crossover. Okay? So integration of many. Data mining, in other words, to understand this data mining techniques and issues and research, then you should know machine learning, pattern recognition, statistics, visualization, high performance computing, database technologies, algorithms, applications, more and more and more. The more the courses you took, the better that you can be in this data mining community. Okay? In other words, this is not a course of entry level. This may be the course that you can wrap up. So I want to read the rest. What we will do, we're going to switch over to the module 2. Data. So we need to talk about data. This is chapter 2 of the first reference that you can see from your syllabus. Okay. So we looked at the data source. We talk about this a lot, right? Where can you extract data mining patterns from online shopping data in order to increase your sales, or sensor data. Sensors are deployed all over the world, right? From medicine to the streets and to industries, up in the air, surface of the globe, or under the water, all over the world, right? Inside your body or outside, you can wear a Fitbit or what is that? Google Glass, Google goggle, right? Or inside your smartphone, in your car, automobile, your home. I know some of you has built a digital home, right? AT&T sells a digital home project, so that if you pay, for example, I mean, it's a very small amount of money, monthly, maybe $20 or $40, then they can build all kinds of sensors in your home and inside and outside, and you can see your home from your cell phone, right? So while you are away from your home, vacation, 6 months of vacation, okay? Then you can winterize your home if winter comes automatically. And you can see who have been approaching to your home during what time.
You can see who's breaking into it and call the cops and blasting around.
That's possible, yeah. So home, along the streets, right?
So you just can see your home and you can do everything. You know, when someone broke in your home.
Yeah, we can buy robots, and robots can stand 24/7 in front of your door. If somebody broke in, then your robots can punch in. Is it really a dream? No, it is all available, right? Anybody has similar to that? No home?
I do not have a face punching
What you do
I
to
want
you?
one, though.
Oh.
I mean, we're testing the DARPA robot's patience when we push them down. Huh? I mean, they're going to get ready to punch the man.
So sensors all around. Or social media, Facebook, tweets, all, right? All available. And also, it is really, really sometimes very dangerous platform where attackers are sharing their plans and synchronizing their actions, because it can it's not long messages, it's not email, right? Just short messages. And if they scramble that to share their idea, some words are very typical, but combination of those typical words meaning something important. So no one knows what it means. Possible. Governmental data. Government these days produce a lot of statistical data. And also a lot of streaming data as well. I mean, real-time data. One of such data, very useful to all of us, is weather data, right? This is generated by the government, and the data that weather channels use is not a lot more than the data that we could receive. Same data. Membership data is very, very important. And also very private. So once compromised, big problem, right? My membership data once compromised from Honda White Plains dealership. Anybody had that experience? I purchased one, I think about 4 years ago. It was a 2012 model. And then probably compromised. So about 6 months ago, I received one package from that Honda dealership, and when I open it, there is one check, $150 that I can directly deposit, and another credit card, is $500 worth. And they explained that during that time period, the customers who purchased the car from our dealer, the data may be compromised. Therefore, we had a lawsuit and we failed the court. Therefore, we returned some dollars. Right? I didn't know that, but maybe the data that I lost a lot more than 650, or maybe that is purely my gain. I do not know yet. But anyway, they did. Did it help me much? No. Why? Because I have that 500 credit card. I went back to that dealership in summer, and then they said, "Oh, can you do this checkup and this and that and some premium something?" And says, "Okay, do it." Finally, they charged $475. I have only $25 left. But the thing is this: that credit card is like a voucher. It's not cash. I cannot use outside. Only that dealers. But anyway, there's membership data. It's a great source, but it's a sensitive source. Data mining. If you mine something from sensitive data, then that is really significant data, right? Data are correlated with sensitive data, then that is like a weapon. Billing data, transportation data, banking, financial transactions, the frequencies of various signals and waves. Okay, therefore, types of data sets. You can think of a record of your database. Okay? For example, relational records. I'm not going to explain all of this. It takes forever and forever, right? So record is the data set, one type of data set. And graph and network, for example, World Wide Web or social network. Molecular structure, this is some sequence data. And ordered sets, video, temporal, spatial data. They're all ordered. Genetic sequence data, like DNA. Spatial image, multimedia. So all data sets that a data miner would like to use. Characteristics of structured data. We're not simply say structured, but more data available current and in the future will be unstructured. Okay, it's not necessarily structured. We simply say data. Okay. Then there is a dimensionality issue. Dimensionality issue. What is the dimension of data? When we describe, for example, student, then data about student is a multi-dimensional. One of those dimensions about student is name, major, age. Each of those is a dimension. So when we describe students, it is a multi-dimensional. Therefore, when we compare one student from another, then there is an issue. Can we compare all possible dimensions? One extreme end. Another extreme end is, can we compare students based upon one dimension only? Or subset dimensions? We can compare last name, therefore we can cluster, right? Or major, or their background, so that we can apply data mining. Or subset of those, last name, major, background, or birthplace, whatever, right? If we cluster the group based upon one dimension, and based upon multi-dimensions, then we can say that the more dimensions that we can apply for data mining, the better outcome of data mining? Yes or no? Or there may be some points, up to that point we might have high quality data mining, but beyond that, then because there's too many dimensions, maybe outcome is degraded. Or always increased the quality of data mining. The more dimensions, the better quality. What do you think? I want to see you intuit it.
I think yeah.
Which one?
Yes, if the more information, the more. I mean, the more dimensions, like you said, your data has, the better it is for you. So you can sort it by different things.
I totally agree. I feel like you can get too far.
There is a theory called the curse of dimensionality. The theory says it's not the case. Let's say, to describe students, you have 100 dimensions possible. If you compare all 100 dimensions, then you don't get critical clustering, for example. Each individuals finally, they're all different. What is then the outcome of data mining? Nothing, right? Do you agree?
Yeah.
If we apply all kinds of dimensions when we compare two objects, then there's no commonalities. Then what is the outcome of the data mining? Nothing. There may be some points. Up to that point, the quality of data mining increased. But after that, decreased. There's some optimal point that is called the curse of dimensionality. If we use only small amount of dimensions, then we might have more errors. Like this. I want to, for example, cluster students. But I use only one dimension. By last name. By last name, the clustering of students would mean something or maybe meaningless. It may be meaningless, right? So another issue is that which attribute, which dimension is the most critical so that we can use first rather than later. But anyway, if we use one dimension, then there may be some more errors. If we use two dimension, we can reduce errors. More and more dimensions so that we can reduce. But at certain points, we do not know what it is. But because we add more, we consider more dimensions, surprisingly, more errors. And more and more and more, like this. So finding out that critical points is the issue. We call that curse of dimensionality. According to the research, the optimal number of dimensions to be considered for data mining is 7. Aha, so lucky 7, right? Lucky 7. If you have more than 7 dimensions to consider for your data mining, first of all, if you include more dimensions, then it takes forever. It'll never end. That is another problem, right? But anyway, so dimensionality is one of the most important characteristics. Another one is sparsity. Let's say you have data points, but one object has 10 data points. Another object only 5, missing. They are not the same granularity. They are not the same sparsity of data. Then data mining is not really, it doesn't produce good, high quality data mining. Question?
So in other words, as the dimension decreases, performance decreases.
No, usually performance decreases because more data to be considered. For example, if we want to group students by major, then you can look at major data only. Right? Oh, it's computer science, cybersecurity, mathematics, so on and so forth. Very clear to compare, right? Let's say if you have 3 dimensionality, major, birthplace, what else? Telephone number. Then it's a lot of combinations, right? Can we group partial major similarity and partial telephone similarity and partial whatever? It takes longer and longer. So if you beyond the curse of dimensionality, then sometimes your program will never end, will never terminate. That is the case. Resolution. resolution is a big issue, right? One data, birthplace has a country name only. The other data has even up to street number. How can we compare? Can you say they are the same? For example, this guy says, I was born in the United States. The other guy says, I was born in 555, what is that? Broadway, Dobbs Ferry, New York, 10522. Are they same?
Yes.
Are they same?
You say country.
We may say same, but it's not really accurate. It's not accurate comparison, right? Depending upon other data. There may be this guy, by the way, the guy who says born in America, but was born really in Texas, and there are 100 other people also born in Texas, and only 2 guys born in Westchester. Then they can say, oh, we have 2 outliers. Okay. Distribution, that is also the issue. So here, this slide explains a course of dimensionality. At certain point here, usually number 7, somewhere here, number of particles needed to describe some. So to describe patterns, if we consider 7 dimensionalities, 7 dimensions, then we can consider only, let's say, 1,000 data points. Handling 1,000 data points takes, let's say, 5 seconds. But because we, supposedly, if we increase 5 more, so somewhere here, I increased 5 more dimensions in addition to 7, therefore, look at this. Where are we? In this graph, for example. Then 12 dimensions, somewhere here. How many data points do we need? Go all the way up. Maybe 1 billion data sets. If we have 7 dimensions, then I can finish it quick only by looking at 1,000 data points. I can get the conclusion. But because I am greedy to consider more dimensions, but that is a big mistake. Anyway, therefore, I need to have 10 billion data sets to get the same conclusion. Just not good, right? Okay. It's good time to take a break. Let's take a 15-minute break. So I want you to come back by 8 o'clock. Okay, we came back from fire drill, or fire alarm, or fire attack. We do not know yet. Yeah, that may be outlier. Okay, types of unstructured data. About 80% of data is unstructured or semi-structured these days. Semi-structured data, typical format of semi-structured data is XML or HTML. Any text data that has some tag
So JSON.
in it. JSON is, I think JSON is, I would say it's more structured. JSON is more structured. So, characteristics of unstructured or semi-structured data. Unstructured data, typical format of unstructured data is the textbook data, or our speech data, our acoustic, or video, audio, music, right? They're all unstructured, which means given arbitrary two sets of data, you cannot say that those two data has up to these points it contains what, and after that maybe 5 bytes is talking about what, and then that is unstructured data. You cannot tell, right? What about network packet data? Is it structured, semi-structured, or unstructured?
Structured, yeah, because
It is structured.
it all has everything.
Yeah, according to the protocol, each packets are packed according to the definition. For example, first 2 bytes is talking about what? Next 1 bit is what? Next 3 bits is what? It's all predefined. According to that definition, when you send data from your system to another system in Canada or Japan, then it packs accordingly. Therefore, the receiver, when the receiver receives the packet, they can unpack it in the same way it was packed. In that way, you can understand not only the final destination, but also any network equipment along the path can do that. Okay? What about wireless data? In wireless communication, the data packet along the wireless communication, is it structured or unstructured? David. Dave, I'm asking to you.
Oh, sorry,
You can give it to someone. Wireless data is also structured.
yeah.
Unless otherwise, when the receiver receives, they do not know what it is. They need to unpack or demodulate. Therefore, they can understand that, hey, this is the data that I am looking for. But anyway, those are the structured data. But when it comes to unstructured or semi-structured data, like your web page, if there is no table format, but any freestyle of web pages, then they are unstructured. They are static. Also, they are dynamic. Static means in what way they are static? Dynamic, we understand, right? It's unstructured, and it's dynamically changes.
You can never change, right? Or changes infrequently.
I'm not sure why I studied. I wrote this based upon some statements, but I forgot. but more dynamic. Okay, and another one is digital assets.
So static is structured.
Oh, wait a minute. This is okay. Now I know. This is not characteristics, but this is an example of unstructured data. I think this is types of unstructured data. Right? It's not characteristics, but types. So, yeah, static web page is unstructured. Dynamic frequency, dynamic streaming data, they are unstructured. Digital assets, almost all the digital assets are unstructured. Assets with intellectual property rights constraints, there's also unstructured. For example, if you have any music records with your intellectual property right, it's unstructured, usually. Books that you wrote, usually unstructured. Therefore, you can claim that your intellectual property, because that is your work. It's not following some rigorous guidelines. Chapter 1 should be this. Section 1.1 should be that, and that, and that. Then that is less intellectual. So more intellectual, then that is, it has all freedom. I think we are okay. All the 5 engines. Data continuum, data continuum, a series of data. There is also unstructured. If it says 2 data items together only, then that may be structured or semi-structured. But usually streaming data, then there is data continuum. Okay. Data objects. Data sets are made up of data objects. So, for example, from the sales database, data objects are customers information, store items, sales information, and medical database. Then we have patient objects and treatment objects, and more and more. University database, we have student objects, professor object, course objects. Data objects, therefore, in other words, called attributes. The definition of data objects or attributes are not really uniform. Therefore, definition here on this slide applicable to all other domain. It is not true. For example, objects defined in R, the program R, is not the attribute. Object there is the vector data or set data. Okay? We will look at that. In the database, attributes is nothing but dimensions. If you have multiple attributes, think about this, one table. Table has multiple columns. multiple columns so that we can say there's a multi-dimensional. Each column is an attribute. Each column is a dimension. So multi-dimension. It's also called the feature. If you analyze image data, the image has various features. The values for each feature can altogether constitute that image. One of the features of image file is the color. Color is one of those, right? Or light density, or the size of image, or you name it, right? So multiple features. And so you can find out the features of objects contained in an image file. Think about that. We have an image of this classroom. Then that image contains multiple objects of students, objects of laptop, objects of desktop, objects of furniture, objects of lights, objects of the communications, right? I am teaching, I am speaking, you are listening, or also you can asking questions. Those are all objects going on the image of this classroom. Attributes, some attributes are nominal, some attributes binary, some attributes numeric, therefore quantitative. Some quantitative data can be scaled by interval or by ratio. Nominal, this is example, nominal objects, nominal attributes is hair color, for example. So, you name it, right? Here. Binary attributes, so the value for that is only two states, 0 or 1. Ordinal, there's some orders, some ranking. So size could be small to large, right? That type of attributes. Age, then that's also ordinal, right? Age 21, 22, 23. Numeric attribute type, numeric data has a quantity, like magnitude, quantity. Because it has a quantity, we can say, we can see the interval between the adjacent two numeric data. Interval, right? Some intervals may be equal, some intervals may not. If we count time or number, then there's equi-intervals. Time, then with minute, then all the same length of same size. Ratio. There's also some ratio, right, based upon 0. Temperature we measure from based upon 0. 0 Celsius, Fahrenheit, maybe 32. So that define temperature, boiling temperature, then whatever the number, or freezing temperature. And also attributes can be in discrete or continuous. Attributes of time, that's continuous. Attribute of age, critical age, then that is discrete, right? We cannot say, oh, I am 21, now 22, now 23. We cannot say that, right? Because we say age. Payment, always that is critical, the discrete, right? Pay X amount of money, then discrete number. They don't say continuous number, continuous attributes, maybe some flow, dust density. If we measure dust density using a sensor in this classroom, then we cannot say a fixed number. It varies all the time, right? Why? Because it's a flow of the air. Okay, basic statistical description of data. Why do we need it? We need to understand the data better, right? And therefore, when we look at data, then we can see the dispersion. How the data is spread out. So data dispersion, so we can say, we can find the median, maximum, minimum, quantiles, outliers, variance. Those are all statistical terms that I want you to recall. You all know max and mean, right? Median, and there are three similar statistical definitions available. Mean value, median value, mode. They are very similar, but they are not the same. So we will look at that. Numerical dimensions. So we can consider the sorted data, like ordered data. Then we can see the quantile. What percent of, we can see the ranked data. What is the top 100? What data? What is the 95% data? And things like that. And then also box plot. Box plot is widely used in stock analysis, right? If you see stock, then there is a box, and above there is a max number, and then below there is a minimum number. So box plot is the tool to plot 5 numbers in one shape. That is a box plot. If you see the image of that box plot, you can understand. You will see it. You've seen that many places from stock analysis. So you can tell, if you have data sets, then it explains that chart, that visualization tells you whole aspects of data sets. Okay? So here it is. mean value is nothing but the average. Median value is the value in the center if you order the given data sets from smallest to largest or vice versa. As you walk through that data, then you can see, oh, this is in the middle. What is the middle? What is the data in the middle? That is called the median. Median, therefore, can denote one specific data that exists in your data sets, or the data that cannot be matched, that cannot be mapped to a physical data. It depends on the number of data sets. If you have an odd number, let's say, yeah, for example, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is odd number, right? So that you can see the number in the middle. If you sort this, can you sort this? So what is the number in the middle?
13. I mean, if you don't sort it, if you leave it the way it is.
So you have to sort, what is the smallest? 13. So you have how many 13s? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see if I can get a pen. Oh, yeah, I have a pen. So we have 13 and 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, one more, and 13. After that, 14. How many 14? 2 14s. So 14 and 14. After that, 16. After that, 17, 18. How many 16? 116, right? And 118 and 121. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait a minute. 9. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. So what is the value in the center? Then 1, 2, 3, 4. We count to 4 from left, and also we count from 4 from left, right. 3, 4. So what is the center?
14.
Center is 14. Which 14? This 14 is the median, not that 14. We cannot tell, but clearly in this order, then we can say that's 14. That is a median. Mean value is nothing but the average. How can you calculate the average?
Have them all together, divide by the end.
Yeah, add them all, whatever the number, and then we divide it by the cardinality, which how many? We have 9 of those, so divide by 9, then I think that is 15. What is a mode? Highest frequency. So when you order the numbers, then you can see how many 13s? 4. How many 14s? 2. And then the rest, 1. Then what is the highest frequency? Which one occurs most often? Then 13. That is the way 13 here. What if I have one more? For example, 14. Then I have 14 here, right?
We add the two 14s together and divide by.
So mean value, okay, you can add them all and then divide by 10, so you can find out. Median, you should pick from the one in the center. But when you count from left and right, there's no center but two values in the middle of two values. That is the center.
So you add them together and divide.
So you add them and then divide by 2 of those two values. Those two values needs to be added and divided by 2. Again, therefore median is still 14. Mode still 13 because we have 4 13s and 3 14s. Still 13 is the high frequent number. If you see here, this, it says the distance between mean and mode is larger than mean and median. There's an empirical formula. It's not exactly like this, but likelihood. What it means is that if it is normal distribution, then mean value is the same as median value, which is the same as the mode. Normal distribution. Because this is exact normal, proper normal distribution, based upon these points, left-hand side, right-hand side, both are the same. Therefore, average is here. That's a mean value. Median, if you count the values, look at this chart, then this is already ordered set. Therefore, center is the center here. So the median is the same as the mean value. At the same time, in this normal distribution, the highest frequent value is again in the center. But they are all the same. Difference between mean and median and mean and mode, according to this, distance between mean and mode is greater than distance between mean and median. Empirical analysis, 3 times. This is not 100% accurate. This is empirical. Meaning the data collected from the real world data, then usually it looks like this. We can see that clearly in this skewed data. Skewed means this is positively skewed, negatively skewed. But anyway, it's not normal distribution. In this case, we have a mean value here. Mean and mode distance is 3 times the mean and median, right? In this example, same as in that example. But anyway, this slide explains symmetric data. Symmetric data can be drawn in a normal distribution. Skewed data is a skewed shape. Okay, this is a bell shape, the chart. the other one is. The other two are not. Measurement, measuring the dispersion of data. Data dispersed, then how can you measure that? Dispersed, dispersed in this way, or that way, or this normal distribution way, so that you want to characterize such data sets. In that case, by providing median, mode, mean values are not sufficient. Okay? We want to see how those values are spread out. Therefore, a few others are developed. Quantile, interquantile range, 5-number range, box plot, outlier, in addition to typical statistics called formula, variance and standard deviation. Variance and standard deviation. Variance usually square of the standard deviation. Oh, wait a minute. Standard deviation is a square of variance. Okay. Is it? Standard deviation is square root of a variance. So variance is bigger than standard deviation. So as you can see here, how they are different in how can we interpolate. Variance tells us the average of squared difference between from the mean, as opposed to standard deviation is how spread out. There's a standard deviation. So in addition to this, we can consider all of this. So many such measurement can be computed by R. You know R? Which is so good. So we can compute mean and variance standard deviation. Variance and standard deviation can be obtained by this formula. So what you can do, how you can compute, you can get the difference of each data from mean value and then square it, and then finally average of those squared value. That is a variance. So how can you obtain variance? You need, suppose that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the data. The mean value is, add them up, divided by 6. Therefore, mean value is 35. What is the variance? Variance is for each value here. So 1 minus 3.5 if you have 1 minus 3.5, then that is a negative value. And all the way up to, see here, 2 minus 3.5. All the way up to 6 minus 3.5. All together, add them up, and then divided by 6. Then there is some problem. Problem is that here in this left side, you have a negative number, and then right hand side, you have a positive number. So negative and positive together, therefore, cancel them out. Then it is always close to 0. It doesn't tell us how wide the values are spread, right? Because the extreme left, extreme right, they are cancelled out. Because one gives us a negative number, the other positive number, similar magnitude, then they can be cancelled out. So end up, the outcome of that all summation and division doesn't mean much. So we want to keep the difference. Keep the difference no matter positive and negative. Then the way that you could do is square it. Square. So all positive numbers. And then divide by 6. Then, although you have the same mean values may be obtained from big negative number to big positive number, still you may have 3.5. Or you have this kind of numbers. But if you want to keep the variance, meaning if you want to measure how they are spread out, then make difference and then square. Therefore, if it is big difference, then you have a bigger number. If it is a smaller difference, then you will have a smaller number. Doesn't matter if it's squared, but at least it can tell us they are that much different. Right? That is the variance. Once you have a variance, then you can see standard deviation. You can square root of those. Because you squared it, I want to see real magnitude, not the doubled, but not real doubled. I mean exponent, right? I want to real close, the values closer to the reality. Therefore, square root. That is a standard deviation. We can make this manually. Or we can do that using RStudio. To get this RStudio, I want you to look at another file. It's called all get started. I already posted. I want you to look it up, and I want you to download RStudio, install it. When you come back next class, you need to bring your laptop with R. Therefore, we will practice R. As I said earlier, R is very, very powerful, useful, easy to run, easy to analyze. Therefore, it is really hot to data analytics, data science positions. So I'm so excited that I can teach you about R. Okay, it is really exciting topic next week. Don't miss it.
Do we have to have Python installed too?
Yeah, you can install it, but we are not yet combine them. For next class, no. We'll do R only. Okay, any question? All right, then I'll see you next week.
Okay.